So this next one's going to be another cover. And, if you know it, sing along. Well, sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what you're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Since I come home, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, Valerie, Valerie. Did you have to go to jail? Put your house up for sale? Did you get a good lawyer? Hope you didn't catch a tan. Hope you find the right man who'll fix it for you. Are you shopping anywhere? Change the color of your hair. Are you busy? And did you have to pay that fine? You were dodging all the time. Are you still busy? Since I come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, Valerie, Valerie. Do 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 sometimes I go out by myself and I look across the water, and I think of all the things what you're doing. In my head I paint a picture. Since I come home, well, my body's been a mess, and I miss your ginger hair and the way you like to dress. Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie? Valerie, Valerie, Valerie. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
So welcome and thank you all for coming to the Community Cafe on using our bodies to heal our minds. My name is Stephanie Osberg, and I am on the board of Healthy Minds Around the Loop, our local mental wellness committee and community organization. And joining me today are peer supporters and people in recovery from all over. And if you would like, I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself.
I'll go ahead. My name is Amy, and I am from Athens, Georgia. I'm a certified peer specialist in mental health, which means that I use my lived experience to walk beside my peers and help support them. Right now, I'm doing help facilitating and host online. They're called Peer Connections Group. And that's through the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network, and doing several other things, but that's the the main thing right now. So good to see you guys. Thank you.
Well, my name is Julia Apprentice. I am also a certified peer specialist since 2006. I've worked in 3 different states. I'm currently not working and in the transition between being a working person and being a retired person. But in the past, I have worked as a peer specialist in the community and also in mental health managed insurance company where we had people with mental health issues, and I would meet them in the community and help them with issues that they were having and support them the best way that they needed to be supported. So that's what I've been doing. Thank you.
Hey, can you hear me? So my name is Melissa M. Love Wallace. I prefer M. Love. I reside in Georgia, in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm a CPS mental health since 2017 or something like that. I have never worked as a CPS, but I am active in the peer support community. I am an avid volunteer and am looking for ways to use my skills to support my community as I've been supported. So, what being a CPS mental health means for me is that this is a lifelong journey to finding healthy ways to interact in society, um, as well as developing tools to share to my community wherever they are around the world. So, I really appreciate Zoom for this um, so that I don't have to do face to face. This really works well for me, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for letting me know about it.
Thank you all so much for joining me today. So the reason the topic has always been so interesting to me is because there used to be this myth that we only use 10% of our brains. And when what we find out, it's kind of the opposite. Our brains take up 2% of our body mass and use 20% of our body's calories. So it is just going constantly. And there's been so much work done on the mind-body connection and how we can use our minds to connect with our bodies. And because there's so much talk that way, but with the energy balance kind of working the other way, I've just found it interesting. Like when we are making our bodies healthier, are we actually making our brains healthier? Right? Like, does it have the opposite effect or can it? Like, anyway, so that's kind of where I'm coming from today. Any initial thoughts anyone would like to share?
Just say that last part again. So when we're using our bodies, are we, what did you say about our minds?
So when we're using our minds to calm our body and being mindful and doing that breath work, can we use activities that we generally think of as not really having so much to do with the mind? One of the ones that was brought up that I want to bring up later is acting. So are there activities that we generally think of that we use our bodies for that instead maybe we can use to help our minds, like use that kind of 80% to help the 20%. I don't know if I made that any clearer or not, Julia.
No, you did. Yeah, thank you. So I think the biggest one for me has been yoga, and especially not so much an active yoga as a restorative or um, very low and slow movements and maybe long holds in positions that seem to really calm my mind, and how important that's been and how easily I can slip away from doing that. That I know that it works and it helps, and then I just stop doing it, which is a way of being human.
I'll jump in. So I think the older I have gotten, it's so important for me to be calm. I like being calm. I don't like chaos. I don't like drama, and so like, I can actually slow down. Like there was been times in my life where I just, my brain wouldn't slow down. I wouldn't slow down really. So it was kind of, I think that until I learned how to help my brain to function as best as possible, as well as my body, because for me, it's, my brain controls my body. But like you're saying, yeah, I think it's just all, it's interconnected. And it's like, sometimes you do the body and the brain follows, sometimes you do the brain and the body follows. And I think that the proof is in the pudding for me, because all of these years of learning about this and doing these practices has worked for me. So I think that I had to find what worked though. And I keep having to find what works, and then things change, like there's this weird thing I've been doing. Well, it's not weird, but that I've been doing. And it's, I try to walk out and put my feet on the earth a few times a day, because I carry a lot of static electricity, and I'll go to touch something and it'll just shock it. And apparently, when you put your feet on the earth, all of that goes out to the earth, and you get in line with the electricity of the earth and all that. I mean, before I was like, yeah, whatever, that kooky stuff or whatever. It's like, no, this is science, but I mean, this is what makes sense to me today. So, but I do that, and it does connect me to the earth. I immediately, it's a physical, I'm just standing there, but it connects me physically, it connects me mentally. Everything just boom, just turns on and sets me into a good space, where somebody else might sit down and meditate for, you know what I mean? It's very hard for me to like just sit there and not do anything. Like that doesn't really work for me, but stuff like that does. So, and I like it. I just have incorporated everything so that it's like a way of life, and it's both, both ways. And so anyway, but that's me. So yeah, I definitely, everything controls everything, so it's all connected. If I don't take care of all different phases of me, somewhere is going to be lacking. I'm not going to function as best as I want to be. And I want to be functioning as best as I want to be as happy as I can, to have a great life, to be there for other people, to like reach my goals and feel like I have purpose in the world. So like, I want everything functioning like a well-oiled wheel, I guess. So anyway, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. It's an excellent question, Steph. The mind-body connection, they do work well together. They should work well together, and when they don't, I could feel the inharmony. It's I've been on a bike before when I was a kid that had no brakes on a hill, and actually twice. Um, and that's what it feels like when your mind is doing stuff that is not authorized to do, like switching thoughts really quickly all the time, or going from you know happy to sad to happy to I don't care to, and it's up and down, it's up and down, and it begins to feel physical. Like you start to get tired physically, even though you're not doing much. You don't move fast, but you're just tired. um, Unfortunately, I don't have insurance, so I didn't have always have the money to go have somebody else work that out with me. So a lot of this, I'm a reader, so I read and research and um, use language to my advantage and find answers and try things. Like right now, I'm trying tapping. I'm working on tapping and seeing if that works for me. And I understand. I forget who said it. Was it Julia or Amy? Oh, Julia, about yoga. I've tried yoga. When you have chronic pain issues, sometimes getting on the floor, even if you're stressed, it's not a good idea. And I find myself not being consistent with things too because I just get discouraged and tired. So I employ different things. You have a bag and you pull out something else and you do that for a time. And I think the variety helps as well, keep the brain engaged. So as I think I told the group this morning, I'm working on mindfulness. And if I'm able to come downstairs and remember why I came down here and to get what I got, or when I get back upstairs and go, wait a minute, there was something. And it's like you black out from between upstairs and downstairs. There's this blackout of I don't know why I'm in this room. What did I come in here for? Um, and it's more it's people say age, but I think we can help that. So I've started doing little things like with each step saying thank you, just thank you. Each step, thank you. Or each step, I'm going to get my phone. My phone is what I need. Oh, here is my phone. I'm picking up my phone because I'll be on my phone looking for my phone. And I'm like, where is my phone? And I'm on it. And that's just that lets me know those are my triggers. What are you stressed about? What are you upset about? Are you worried about something? Why are you moving so fast? And so I have to slow down. And instead of doing three and four things, I'm only doing one thing. I'm going to get my phone. And I keep saying it to myself, I'm going to get my phone. And that has helped me not lose my keys. I used to lose keys all the time. I, I used to lose my wallet. I'm involved in identity theft because of the number of times I've lost my license and my social security card. That hasn't happened in a few years now because I've been working on it. And I employ a method I saw in a movie where the character makes up songs. It was The Long Kiss Goodnight with Samuel Jackson. He, he goes, dun 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 dun, got my keys in my pocket, dun 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 dun, I've locked the door, dun 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 dun. And I thought it was funny, but I started using that. And so now I don't just say my keys are in my pocket, I physically touch them. If I have to pull them out, I go, my keys are in my hand and I'm putting them in my left pocket and I make a physical imprint so that even when I forget in the blackout moment, I'm like, I remember this feeling of something. Oh, it's in my pocket. And that helps because the more stressed I get about losing my keys, the farther I get away from remembering what steps I took, where was I? Because I'm so stressed. So slowing things down really has helped me a lot and talking to myself differently, not in the way like you, dumbass, you lost your keys. You can keep dumbass in there even if we're recording. You you lost where instead of saying that, going, oh wow, we can't find our keys. I wonder where. You got it. It's okay. They're somewhere. Didn't you remember putting it? And so I talk to myself the way I would talk to a friend. And it lessens the stress on myself because I get the message, you're not in trouble. Nobody is mad at you. It's okay. Not a big deal. And then boom, there they are. Because I've looked, you ever looked for something 6 times and all the same 6 places and you didn't find it? And then later when you forget about it, there it was right there. It's because you're stressed. Because we feel like somebody's going to be upset with us for doing something stupid again, and that's not fair. And so I just identified a lot of ways in which I was being very unkind to myself. And oh my God, a cardinal is going to get in my bird bath. Sorry, I made a bird bath. I'm so excited. I thought nobody was coming to my party. I felt like a kid that had a party and nobody came. And there he is. Sorry, I'm done. Let me mute my mic before I really embarrass myself.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And also thank you for everything that you shared, because it really reminded me why I brought up this topic, because I have two very different physical responses to my mental health and issues with my mental health and as they progress. And if I'm incredibly anxious, I will be I just need to walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk until it gets out of me. And I will literally walk the tension out of me. But that's usually not healthy. That's usually when I've let things get too far. But it's something that you were saying, Emma, I can get very out of my head. My thoughts are up here somewhere. And I'm in 5 different rooms and I'm in 3 different problems and I'm in every place but kind of the moment where I am. And I spend more time going across a threshold going, why am I in this room? And and I laugh at myself about it all the time, but I also recognize that there are a lot of things about being present and being in the moment and being in the experience that my brain runs away from. And so for me, these type of the word I use for them is somatic. So basically anything having to do with my body. These kind of somatic exercises help me unite my busy mind, my scattered mind, into kind of a one selfness and into my body. So if I am doing, I love, for me, it's yin yoga. And I can be in yin yoga, and for me, it engages that part of my brain that wanders. So it allows an avenue for mindfulness that isn't as accessible to me if I'm just sitting. So I love, and there are meditations that I have been taught, and I need to be honest, I have not practiced, but I've mainly because they make me nervous, because you're sitting or kind of sitting at a wall. So you're in a squat position where your legs are out and you're like this and you stay there meditating. And it, again, very difficult for your mind to wander, because holding yourself there is very encompassing. So when I started doing some research into this, that's kind of where I started. But I found some really interesting things along my way. And one of the ones that I really like is biofeedback. because you don't need to be able to do yoga or to find an acting class or do anything like that. You can use whether it be your breathing. I know someone who doesn't like doing breathing work. She prefers to use her heart rate. So she'll just sit there and kind of calm and listen until her heart rate. So, like, just kind of focusing in on different parts of your physiology and just noticing. And I thought that was a really interesting you're in your body, but you're not using your body. I'm sorry, I'm kind of not finding the right words, but a still somatic experience that was still very distracting. So my wandering mind had something to focus on. You guys have any practices or thoughts on that? And welcome, Anissa.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late. A still somatic experience, like where you use stillness. No, because I have, with me, it's a lot of energy. I'm trying not to label it. We'll just call it energy. So I move a lot. You'll notice that I do a lot of these kinds of things, that I move a lot because there's a lot of energy within me that's moving within me all the time. And I feel like the movement is kinetic, right? The energy wants kinetic release. So stillness is not, but maybe I do, and I just don't realize it. Maybe there are times when I'm in a flow state, when I'm really engaged in something and focused on something, that my body is still. But because my mind is one with the task that I'm doing, I'm not focusing in on my body as much. So maybe in times when I'm present with what I'm doing, I will try to be present with my body as well. Try and do that. It's hard when you're really focused in on a task. It's hard to, oh, I got to remember, let's check in with our body, you know, but I'll try and do that.
Do you do the visualization with the body work, Steph? Is it, or are you focused on keeping your mind? Because different techniques, some use visualization. Because I had trouble meditating, I would always go to sleep. Great naps, great naps. I got some good sleep, but I could not. And I've paid for uh, sessions of meditation, and it's just this room, very comfortable, and pretty soon you hear the soft snoring. Um, when I added visualization, because I needed help, and I think of my thoughts um, like balloons, and I just gently nudge it back to where it's supposed to be center, and then I'll go thinking about what I'm getting at the grocery store, and I'll bring it back down. And it really takes a lot, you know. Even when I write, my thoughts change. You're writing about kittens, and then suddenly birds. So I started to allow it, but just keep track of it. And so in my journal, there'll be times where I'll be writing about something and then I'll draw a line. Or if I'm typing it, I'll put a dotted line to indicate change of thought, and just go ahead and not try to make myself stay on that subject, because apparently I'm very rebellious. So I don't like being told what to do, even by me. So I had to work with that, because if I strong arm it, I'm going to quit. So I just said, okay, we're going to let you do that. But I'm going to note how many times you changed thought, which helped me to remember, oh, I'm changing my thought. I don't want to do, let me, because it's not, it starts to affect your conversations. You'll just jump from, thought to thought to thought. And it's hard to follow someone like that. But I noticed that that's something that I, just when I'm not comfortable or nervous or something, and you're just free talking without an outline or something, you'll do that. So my process was that is I use the mindfulness, the breathing, but along with visualization. I'm not trying to sit here and think of nothing. Sometimes I'll focus in on a white noise, like the sound of the heater, and I'm cold nature. So yeah, I have a heater, although it's warm outside and I got short sleeves. So I'll just focus in on the nothingness of the sound of the heater. And that kind of like clears the space for me to get in touch with what I'm feeling, because my mind that is like a bag of monkeys are over here listening to this white sound, and they find it very interesting, so that my conscious mind can do what we need to do. It's like having a 3-year-old that is got sugar addictions going on inside my head. But I'm learning to be patient, and believe it or not, hearing all of this helps, because then you realize you're not alone. You're not you don't belong in a museum as if you're only one of your kind. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to be okay.
Can I just get a little update on what we're talking about? Movement, right? But movement as it relates to what exactly?
Well, the topic is how we use our bodies to help our minds. So and it's a part of the exploration is taking the labels off it and how we have to do it. And I think we all do it differently. Like with MLove visualization, like if I'm doing a morning meditation, I let myself sometimes do a visualization meditation. I can be there for hours and I'm just absolutely loving it. But then I'll try to do a quiet mind meditation. So that'll be more posture focused for me, because that was a tool that I've used ever since I was a little kid to kind of release my energy. Stand up tall. I danced as a kid, so I just imagine like my old dance instructor pulling me from the top of my head, and it just centers me, and then holding in my abdominals. Again, it's that I use my monkey mind to do that. And then it wanders off and I find myself like this and I bring it back. And so that, yeah, that's how like I use my body as a tool to, and I wouldn't even call it meditate, but just kind of bring that scattered brain and back inside. I think that's so yeah, different ways we do that, whether it be biofeedback or doing a meditation, yoga. Those are some of the things that were brought up before you got here.
So I do something kind of weird for distress tolerance. And that is, I just get up and dance and sing. I just get up and dance a little jig and sing. When the distress is getting too intolerable, it's getting to a level that it's just too much, I just get up and dance it out and sing. It immediately changes what I'm thinking about. It immediately changes what I'm feeling in my body, because it's about the movements that I'm doing. And it works. I also have cats that get fascinated when I start dancing. So it engages me with behaviors with my cat. So I actually start dancing with my cat. So it engages me in a wider range of movement. So that's one way in which I use movement to help my mind, is I get up and I dance when the distress, and sing when the distress is too much. One way that I try and balance and center myself is, I guess you can call it stillness, although I'm not very still when I'm doing it, but I need quiet in the morning. I need a patch of quiet in the morning, where I'm just doing nothing. I could be doing something, but it's not anything of consequence. It's not anything related to work. It's not a chore. It's not related to anything that is consequential in my life. But I just need that moment of quietude where the world, I feel, is just standing still. And I'm, if I have my patio door open, I'm listening to the birds outside, and the animals chattering. Or as M Love was saying, I'll zero in on a white noise maybe that's happening in my house, like the air conditioner turning on or the heater turning on, or my little doohickey that's like a 3-in-1 space heaters, fan, air purifier thing, or the ceiling fan or something, or just put my head on one of my cat's chests and listen to them purr, to connect to the sound in that way, but no human sounds, Another way that I use movement to help me out is I stretch a lot. I don't do like yoga routines, but I do a lot of yoga poses throughout the day to help me maintain a certain level of comfort, to help me maintain a certain level of, it's just to work out aches and pains in my body sometimes, but sometimes it's also just to breathe a little deeper. And clear away all of the, like what you were saying, Steph, being in like 5 rooms and 3 emails, and couldn't remember exactly what you were saying, but I remembered like there were 3 rooms and 5 different things that you were doing all at once. But so those are different ways that I use movement. I don't go out for walks much because I have barriers surrounding leaving my home. That's challenging for me. But when a walk presents itself, I do not say no. I love taking walks. I love being in nature. I love being in the city as well as being in nature and walking in the city and doing museums and stuff like that. So you can put me in any environment and I love to walk in it. And yeah, so those are some ways that I use movement for myself. And Love, I'm with you on the visualization. I'm a big visualizer. Sometimes the visualizations just come to me, just something will pop in my head. Especially when you're trying to meditate, you got to hold on to something, because yeah, you will fall asleep.
It's interesting for me. One of the issues in the past has been not the mind in five different places, the mind ruminating like a little hamster wheel with the same thought or thoughts over and over again. And that tends to speed up. And then there's physical reactions to that, physiological reactions to that. Like my breathing starts to get faster, my shoulders start to get tense. And when I realize that's happening, the way that works the best for me to undo it is to take those physiological things and reverse them. So untense my shoulders, slow down my breathing. Sometimes it comes with pacing, and pacing can be a positive or a negative, but often for me, making the body movement of pacing slows my mind down. And I don't, it seems almost counterintuitive to me why that happens. And then also, Emma, you mentioned tapping. My new therapist that I've had since July introduced me to tapping, and when I'm in an extreme state, that is one thing that really has helped. So it comes with movement and it comes with repetition of sayings. So when I'm saying to myself, you're okay, you're safe, here is a safe place, and I'm doing the tapping, repetition of those two things together seems to reset. It just does like a body reset. And the third thing is, this isn't motion, but I found resetting by napping, or not even napping, but getting in an extremely almost fetal position, comfortable, cozy, under a blanket with a pillow, and maybe something to hold, and just staying there, just being in that spot is comforting and soothing to the point where it will start to dissipate some of the mind stuff that's going on. And I have a physical challenge right now. I have a couple of physical challenges, but I have a physical challenge that I'm actually really learning how to walk again. And it's really strange to have to think about walking, because it's a very slow down, conscious way of putting your body in motion. I've sort of lost the automatic way of walking. And when I try to do it without thinking about it, I end up limping. So that's something else that's worked for me recently, is that when I'm moving, I'm actually consciously thinking about moving. And it's very different than just, twittering around, your apartment, or moving around your house, just, you know, being very deliberate about where you go and what you do when you do it. It has a calming effect on your mind. For me, that's what happens.
I don't know if this counts as movement, but I recently purchased a new um, heating pad that vibrates, and it's helpful um, to because when I'm usually in South Carolina as well. I'm between Georgia and South Carolina. When I'm in South Carolina, the bed has a function that the mattress vibrates, and so that's how I go to sleep. And when I'm back in Georgia, I have to shake my feet in the bed because I don't have that. So I just constantly shake my feet, and and then I got that vibrating thing, and it really it's and sometimes I do in my mind a vision of me kind of rocking myself like a baby, and that helps because um, when I used to be out with people, I shake my leg, and it's and that's like a neon sign that you have an anxiety. And people are very well meaning and they notice it, and you can see them notice it, and they try to make you feel better. And I'm like, the best thing you can do is not notice it. Just don't even look over here. So I've gotten better now. I don't have to do that anymore because now it's a mental thing. It's just I can mentally do it now. So um I guess that's part of, I mean, because it's a private battle, but if you don't watch your symptoms, it'll become very public, you know, and that could cause another issue because it's my business, you know. And people go, "What's wrong with you? You nervous?" At least I don't bite my nails anymore, so I've started painting my nails. I'm not girly girl, but I'm not totally granola either. I'm just comfortable. You know, I do like to dress up and stuff, but it's my style. And so having my nails done means I don't do this anymore. I don't bite them all the time anymore, because I like that's a sign of progress that I don't have to bite my nails anymore. I'm very happy about that. I can that's one less thing I have to be ashamed about, you know, biting my nails. So all of these things, taken separately, um, it's a journey. It's a journey. But and this conversation has helped me to put it together, and I see that there's been a span of 5 years of different things that I've done to get to this point that, you know, um, I've gotten things under control. My therapist helped me to use movement when I speak. And so I use my hands, but instead of being a repetitive thing, like just the same motion over again, it's communication to my body. So when I'm talking to someone and I'm having space issues, um, you know, I do motions like, I talk like this, and that sends an unconscious message that this is my space, you know. And so talking like this sets an invisible fence, and it's comforting to me to define my space, even if I'm standing in front of a crowd. And it's all helpful, and all of this means something, because when I'm talking to her, if I do something, she knows it's kind of, it's like I'm communicating and telling you exactly what I'm feeling by my body movement. So I'm learning to control that a little more. And even if I'm not calm, there's a way to position yourself that makes you look calm. But really inside, I'm like this, you know, but I look like this, and it helps. So that's a part of bringing it all in and under your control, you know. So progress.
I absolutely love this conversation. And I have to say that I did not anticipate it heading in the direction where it went for me personally. But what for me, like the part of the somatic experience for me and incorporating somatic techniques into my practice for wellness, um, before now, I didn't understand what that was. But watching you and all of your movements and what you're discussing, for me, it's loving and nurturing myself. But in a physiological way, like in a way that like I feel hugged. And I think that the other thing that I was going to bring up as because for me it's a huge part of learning to be more in my body is either a guided body relaxation meditation or yoga nidra, where you're asked to be in different parts of your body in your mind. So it really takes, and all you're doing is laying there. And I've had some of the most powerful connective moments doing those types of practices because it slows me down. So now I'm going to take a way that adding into that something that promotes the love and nurturing so that I like getting the most out of everything that I do. Call it laziness, whatever. But if I know that that is what my goal is through my exercises, I'm really hoping I can make them more powerful by putting some intent behind them. So, yes, thank you. This has just been beautiful so far. Has anyone else had any experience with yoga nidra or any of that type of meditative in your body experience?
Yes, I've done some yoga nidra. I also have um, a couple of different apps that I use that have guided meditations. And I tend to get um, the particular ones that help me the most. I listen to those repeatedly, which really helps because I sort of know what's coming next. But I find myself, the person's voice, the way that's happening. I'm sorry, I'm getting a phone call. The way that's happening is it's almost like preconditioning me to relax and to feel safe and to feel comfortable. And then, so the first part is like a body scan and a body tensing and relaxation. But the second part is like where we go someplace in our minds, you know, and it happens to be a particular place which works for me. Um, Sometimes I can do that for myself in a guided meditation. I could say I'm taking a walk in my favorite park and I have my dog with me and it's, you know, cool and shady and stuff like that. And, you know, I hear the birds and I smell the pine and I see the water rippling. And sometimes I can do that for myself and that will take tension away, drain tension away. Sometimes I need to listen to it. And the best experience is listening to it with headphones and hearing it almost, you know, going around like it would be really be in physical sense, sound going around my head. Is that anything about what you're talking about, Steph?
Yeah, definitely.
I've had a yoga nidra, several actually, but it's actually, yeah, I've done the sleep, the yoga nidra sleep, whatever it's called, and it's hard for me to do because laying on my back for a long period of time, like it takes lots of modifications. Otherwise my back starts hurting me. But you know, you just walk out of one of those sessions and you're just like jelly. You're totally jelly. But yes, you can have really powerful connective experiences in those if you're present with it. If you're present with it, I've had the hit or miss, and it depends on your guide as well, you know. But yes, they're very, very powerful.
Thanks for coming, Amy.
Yes, it's so good to see all you guys, and I will take what I've heard today and try to pass that on. So I'm going to be a part of another meeting, and you guys have a great day. Bye.
Bye. And actually, this is, it is almost like I planned it. This is exactly when I was hoping that we would be able to say, coming to the last 5 minutes, is there anything that anybody would like to share before we end our session today?
Just thank you again for another wonderful community cafe, and sorry I was late, Steph.
Always better late than never.
So awesome to try finally be able to be here. And I loved your question and your exploration. The topic has been really helpful to me and how people have used it. And I'm just really glad I came. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all you shared and everything that you brought.
Yeah, I appreciate this. Thank you for letting me know about it. I'm looking at the site now. I love it. It's so bright. Um, so this is a bi-weekly group. This is not.
Yes, this is every second week.
every second week. So that doesn't mean anything until I put it on a calendar. So this won't be again until the week of the
26th.
26th. Okay, at 12. Awesome.
And we will be talking about the power of walking. And in that will be included not just for able-bodied people. So we'll be doing some exploring of the benefits of getting out for a roll as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow, Anissa.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
There's one for my grandmother. Dear Grandmother Joan, I'm out of ideas, so I wrote you this song. Proud new Waterford girl, words on your wall said you long for this world. Man knows like we all know you're precious to this song. Whoa, I hope you can hear. Days are so hard. Everyone's coming back home. Please, please walk away, or I beg you to stay. You've never been wrong. Oh, can't you hang on till the end of my song? You were one of 13, two bloody wars you got born in between. You raised up 5 of your own. Loom of the babies in which you were never alone. One of them had me. Now I think I can finally say that whoa, I hope you can hear. Days so hard, everyone's coming back home. Please, please walk away, or beg you to stay. You've never been wrong. Oh, can't you hang on till the end of mine? Well, I'll tell the God's honest truth to you. I told you lies when I said that I was okay. You love me anyway. Folks we know say that they will, but I still got those keys to that house on the hill, and I will do all that I can to get us open. You too. I hope you can hear. Days so wide, everyone's coming back home. Whoa, please walk away, or I beg you to stay. And never been wrong.
next one is called Ho Hey. It's a little old one by the Lumineers. I've been trying to do it right. I've been living a lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed. So show me family, all the blood that I bleed. I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I went wrong, but I could write a song. I belong with you, you belong with me, you're my sweetheart. I belong with you, you belong with me, you're my sweetheart. I belong with you, you belong with me, you're my sweetheart. I don't think you're right for him. With the road it might have been. You took the bus to Chinatown. I've been standing on canal and Bowery. She was standing there for me. I belong with you, you belong with me, you're my sweetheart. I belong with you, you belong with me, you're my sweetheart. I belong with you, you belong with me, you're my sweetheart. In love, we need it now. Let's go, and so where now I belong, you belong with me, my sweetheart. I belong with you, you belong with me, my sweetheart. I belong with you, you belong with me, my sweetheart. Thank you so much.